There's a video from inside OpenAI that most people have never even seen. The whole company's together at some kind of retreat. Employees are writing names of rival AI labs into wooden blocks, and then they're burning them. And a man is standing in front of them leading the chant, "Feel the AGI, feel the AGI." That man is Ilya Sutskever. He built the most important AI on Earth. Then he tried to stop it, resulting in 700 of his colleagues turning against him. To understand why he did what he did, you have to go back to the beginning, because Ilya Sutskever is not who you'd expect. He grew up in a Soviet immigrant family, born in Russia, moved to Israel as a small child, then to Toronto as a teenager. He didn't grow up in Silicon Valley. He didn't come from money or connections. He came from a family that had already uprooted twice before he was even old enough to drive. And somewhere in that journey, he became obsessed with the question almost nobody else was asking. Could a machine actually think? Not calculate, not search a database, think. In the early 2000s, that question would get you laughed out of most computer science departments. Artificial intelligence was considered a dead end. The people working on it were seen as dreamers at best. But Ilya didn't care. He found Geoffrey Hinton at the University of Toronto, one of the only researchers in the world who still believed neural networks could work, and he became his student. It was a bet on a future that didn't exist yet, and in 2012, that bet paid off. Ilya helped build a system called AlexNet that beat every other approach to image recognition so badly that the entire field of computer science pivoted overnight. Deep learning went from a fringe idea to the foundation of modern AI, and Ilya was 25 years old. Google hired him immediately, and he could have stayed there forever. Great salary, world-class resources, zero risk. But in 2015, Ilya did something that only makes sense if you understand what drives him. He walked away from Google and co-founded a nonprofit. That nonprofit? It was OpenAI. And the idea behind it was almost naive in how earnest it was. Build the most powerful AI in the world, but do it for everyone. Not for shareholders, not for one company, for humanity. Ilya wasn't the loudest voice in the room. He wasn't the CEO or the fundraiser. He was the scientist. The one who actually knew how to make the thing work, and he believed with some kind of intensity that made people uncomfortable that getting this right was the most important thing any human being would ever do. In 2015, almost nobody agreed with him. AGI, or artificial general intelligence, felt like science fiction. Most experts put it decades away. Ilya thought they were wrong, and he was willing to give up everything safe and certain to prove it. Then the technology started working, faster than anybody predicted. In 2017, a paper called "Attention is All You Need" introduced the Transformer, a new architecture for training AI. Ilya recognized the power immediately and used it to build the GPT series at OpenAI. GPT-2 in 2019 was so capable that they debated whether to release it, and GPT-3 was 100 times larger. And then, in November 2022, ChatGPT launched and it had 100 million users in 2 months, the fastest product adoption in history. And that same year, OpenAI had taken $1 billion investment from Microsoft and restructured from a nonprofit into a capped profit company. The mission was still on the wall, but the incentives had changed, and Ilya could feel it. Here's what I think most people don't understand about Ilya's position at this point. He wasn't some outsider criticizing AI from a distance. He was the person who had built it. He knew exactly how powerful it was because he made it that powerful. And now he was watching the organization he co-founded to treat the most dangerous technology in human history like a product launch. Sam Altman wanted to ship, but Ilya wanted to slow down. GPT-4 launched in March 2023 without the full safety review Ilya pushed for. And Sam went to Congress. He became the face of AI, called for regulation while accelerating deployment. The gap between what OpenAI said and what OpenAI did was getting wider, and Ilya decided he couldn't just watch anymore. And on Friday, November 17th, 2023, 12:30 p.m. Pacific time, Sam Altman joins a Google Meet with OpenAI's board. Ilya's on the call. So are 3 other board members. And they tell Sam he's fired, effective immediately. The statement goes out within the hour. The board no longer has confidence in his ability to continue leading OpenAI. Greg Brockman, OpenAI's president and Sam's closest ally, resigns in protest. And the tech world loses its mind. An $86 billion company's CEO fired over a video call with no warning. And the driving force behind it was the quiet scientist who barely did any interviews. Here's the twist. Ilya wasn't making a power grab. He didn't want to be the CEO. He didn't have a PR strategy or a list of media contacts ready to spin the story. He genuinely believed Sam was moving too fast towards something humanity wasn't ready for. He thought removing him was the only way to slow things down. He thought people would understand once they heard the reasons. He was catastrophically wrong about that part. Over the weekend, a revolt began. But it wasn't the revolt Ilya expected. OpenAI employees didn't rally behind him. They rallied behind Sam. Within 48 hours, more than 700 of OpenAI's 770 employees signed a letter threatening to quit and join Microsoft unless the board reversed its course. Over 90% of the company Ilya had spent a decade helping build, rejected him. Microsoft CEO went to CNBC and offered to welcome any OpenAI employee who wanted to leave. He wasn't rescuing OpenAI, he was offering to absorb it whole. And then came the moment that still stops me. Ilya signed the letter too. The man who had engineered the entire thing reversed course within 72 hours. Think about what that means. He believed so deeply that he was right that he was willing to blow up his company. And then he watched 700 people telling him he was wrong. And he broke. Monday morning, on November 20th, Ilya posted on X 7 sentences. He wrote that he deeply regretted his participation in the board's actions, that he never intended to harm OpenAI, that he loved everything they'd built together and would do everything he could to reunite the company. The man who tried to pump the brakes on what he believed was a threat to humanity was now publicly apologizing for trying. On the next day, Sam Altman walked back into OpenAI as CEO. The board was reconstituted, but Ilya was removed from it. He kept his title as chief scientist, he kept getting paid, but he stopped going to meetings. Former colleagues said you'd see him in the office, but it was like he wasn't really there. For 6 months, the man who had helped build the most important AI company in the world was a ghost inside it. And in May 2024, Ilya finally broke his silence. He announced that he was leaving OpenAI. And the statement was remarkably gracious. No bitterness, no blame. He said the company's trajectory had been amazing, and he was confident OpenAI would build AGI that was both safe and beneficial. After nearly a decade, he walked away clean. For 5 weeks, nobody knew what he was doing. And then on June 19th, he told the world. Safe Superintelligence Incorporated. That was the name, SSI. And the mission statement read like a manifesto. We will pursue safe superintelligence in a straight shot. One goal and one product. No distractions from management overhead or product cycles, just the work. By September, he'd raised $1 billion at a $5 billion valuation. Andreessen Horowitz, Sequoia, DST Global. The smartest money in Silicon Valley looked at the man who just failed the most public corporate coup in tech history and bet everything on him. And here's what I keep coming back to. Ilya tried to hit the brakes on the AI race and got run over for it. But his failure freed him. He doesn't have to go to Sam Altman anymore. He doesn't have to go compromise with a board or a product team or investors who want quarterly returns. He gets to build exactly what he always wanted, AGI done right, with safety at the center and nothing else. Remember that ritual from the beginning? Ilya and his team burning the names of their competitors chanting "Feel the AGI"? People laughed at it. It seemed unhinged. But here's the thing, Ilya feels the AGI. He always has. That's not a weakness. It might be one of the things that makes him the right person to build it safely. The race to build artificial general intelligence is happening right now, whether we're ready for it or not. Most of the people running it are trying to get there first, but Ilya's trying to get there right. If this story changed how you see AI, hit subscribe. We've got more coming.